Hi, this is Norman Greenbaum. I'm here with John Broughton on Retrospectives, 3 SER, KC Radio.
Just going right back, what would be your earliest musical memories? I believe you were very taken by the folk revival of the 60s.
When I started playing music, I was into folk music, but long before that, I was a big fan of Elvis.
Yeah. Were you at any stage ever headed towards any other career other than music?
Well, I was going to college, just taking a whole mumbo-jumbo of different courses, trying to figure out if that's what I really wanted to do. And along the line, I got into hanging out at folk music clubs in the Boston area, and decided I would rather do that than become an accountant or something like that.
I saw where
It worked out for me.
It sure did. I saw you describe one of your early bands, the Dr. West's Medicine Show and Jug Band, as a psychedelic jug band. Can you tell us a little bit about how that worked?
Well, we had friends that were into light shows, and we came up with this idea of painting our faces and playing in front of a screen while the light show was going on. So that's where the psychedelic thing happened.
And what?
It was basic jug band music. The music itself wasn't really psychedelic.
Oh, okay. So it was.
Who remembers what exactly psychedelic meant? It was so long ago.
So the psychedelic was the visual aspect of the show, basically.
It was more visual.
Yeah. Was that band purely for the enjoyment of being in a band, or was it a serious career option for you at that stage?
Well, we made records. We toured. So it was serious.
How did the first moves towards a solo career for you? How did they come about?
Well, the Dr. West Jug Band had a hard time staying together. Most people that are in bands can relate to that.
Yeah.
And there was just a flux of different people coming and going, and I decided that I really had an itch to go more electric. And the way to do that was to completely break from the jug band folk type of music we were doing. And so at one junction, when the band wasn't really getting along that well, I decided it was the right time to make the move and go out on my own.
Now, of course, it would be impossible to talk to you and not bring up the subject of Spirit in the Sky.
Absolutely.
I believe 2 other singles were released from that album before Spirit in the Sky itself. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 2. I know that there was at least 1. It's been a long time. I don't think about it that often.
Was there any particular reason for that? Could the record company not see the hit potential of the song?
Well, the record company had their ifs about it. One was they thought it was too long, because it was just about 4 minutes long, and in those days they liked 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
For pop radio, top 40 radio. And second, they didn't think there was the kind of a song that pop rock stations would play. It was quite different compared to if you went back and looked at the charts those couple of years. It was quite different. So they put out, well, actually, they named the album Spirit in the Sky. So, I mean, it was going to come out eventually.
Okay.
One way or the other. And they put out something first, and that didn't really stir up much of interest. Then Spirit in the Sky came out, and it was kind of just like lagging along. It got a lot of play, but not enough to break nationwide. And then all of a sudden, like overnight, everybody started playing it, and it just never stopped. It was kind of interesting.
I believe it gave your parents quite a surprise, the subject matter of the song, indeed.
Well, I was not a Christian, nor a born-again Christian, nor a Jew for Jesus. Basically, I was just a songwriter that came upon an interesting idea of what to do with a song.
Did you enjoy the note?
I still hear a lot of it to this day. Many Christians have problems with some of my lyric in there. But I tell everybody the same thing. It's just a song.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to convert people. It's just a good time feeling thing. And if you really look at religion, basically, in the back of your mind, when you die, you want to go up to heaven, basically. And so that was it.
Did you enjoy the notoriety and fame that came with the hit? Were you comfortable in that?
Oh yeah, we had a good time touring and playing and everything. Yeah. Well, and of course it was wonderful to be in the top 5 around the world. That didn't hurt too much.
The recording itself, as a recording, has really stood the test of time. That the production still sounds fresh today. Can you pinpoint any reason for that?
I think it was just one of those magical moments you hear about.
Yeah.
Like, you'll meet a girl and you just know it's her. Or you could go out with 20 and they never work out. And then there's that one time and you just know it. It didn't, for a song that everybody thinks had lots of gimmicks, it really didn't have any.
No.
It was just a couple of, 2-3 guitars, bass, drums, and some girls singing. I get a lot of email at my website from people thinking that I slit the speakers in my amplifier to get that fuzzy sound.
Fuzz, yeah.
But it was a custom-made fuzzbox device, actually. Yeah.
Can you remember the actual writing of the song? Can you remember the writing process?
The writing of the lyrics, I had started doing that when I was living in Los Angeles. And then I moved north to the San Francisco area and finished the lyrics. But it did take a number of months to come upon the music I thought would take it over the hill, or the hump, or whatever you want to say. That took a long time. I went through 3 or 4 different arrangements before I finally hit on this arrangement that we used.
Have you ever...
Which was good. Still sends shivers up my spine, and I wrote it.
Yeah. Oh, it doesn't sound like a song from another era at all. It hasn't dated...
And it's amazing. I have a website called spiritofsky.com, and I get a lot of mail from 12, 13-year-old guys and girls going, I was listening to my parents' records and I came across this one. Boy, is that good. So it has transcended time. It's quite interesting.
I can relate to that.
How, who knows? Some songs never go away, and other ones you can't wait till they go away,
Considered how your life or your career would have panned out had you not written the song?
Well, it would have taken different turns. I would have still made records. So it's hard to say exactly how they would have turned out. But I definitely was part of the music scene, so I was going to be making solo records one way or another, or with another band. I mean, that was going to happen one way or another.
Now, of course, the song has taken on a life of its own in recent years, being used in a number of other forms in TV shows, commercials, and movies. Did that surprise you when all that started to eventuate?
Yeah, I had never thought of. I thought, okay, I got a hit, and I'll play for 10 years afterwards. I wasn't lucky enough to get another major hit, but we played and played and played, and then it looked like that was it. No one was too interested in me at that time, and I just thought, well, it's over. I'm going to have to look for some other kind of thing to do with myself. And all of a sudden, it starts to appear in movies. And to this day, I mean, it hasn't even stopped. And it's been like, I think that it started in '85. And here we are, 2004. It's almost 20 years. And it's been in over 20 movies. And it's been in over a dozen TV commercials. And the interesting part about it all is that it's been covered twice in England. Well, it's been covered more than twice, but it was number one in England for the third time this past year by different artists.
Wow. Amazing, isn't it?
The Doctor and the Medics did it, I think, in '86.
That's right, yeah.
And then this past year, Gareth Gates did it again, and I'm told it was like one of the, if not the biggest single in England this past year.
So has it reached a point now where you're able to live comfortably off the song?
Well, it depends on how you what comfortable means. I'm living.
Yeah.
All the exes are paid off. The kids are grown, so, I guess I'm okay.
That's more than a lot of people can say, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It would have been nice to have had a couple more hits. Then I think I could use the word comfortable.
Yeah, I was going to get onto that. What's your theory on why the success didn't continue for you after that?
It was too much of a monster hit. It was beyond itself. There wasn't a possible way to do it again, or anything like it. And I always had this penchant for like changing abruptly in direction. And to me, it was more important to write different kinds of music rather than stick with one type. And everybody just wanted to hear another Spirit in the Sky. And I made an attempt, a real good attempt with a song called California Earthquake. And it had that same, fuzzbox guitar that I played, and it was very prominent in the arrangement. But it was just a very minor hit. And looking back, I've been talking to a lot of people. It seems that it was just too big. There was just no way to come close to it again. And it was almost like, I would be plagiarizing myself or something like that.
Yeah. Which is a shame because you put out some wonderful records after that, but I guess it gave you too much to live up to, having all that success so soon.
Well, but that was mostly in other people's minds rather than my own.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I never felt I had to live up to myself.
No.
It was just me doing whatever I was going to do next. But the music business is very fickle.
Yeah, exactly.
And the same with with the actors and actresses. You get a part and it's too good, and then you can't get another one that's good enough.
Exactly.
And you just fade.
Was there a defining moment for you when you knew it was time to give music away?
Oh yeah, I got real tired of playing clubs, and it was really hard to get. I had a number of different bands after the band that I took on the road with me, and we wound up playing what you call the California club circuit. It was basically the West Coast. There were, just the whole West Coast of the United States. And, we played it. We would always sell out, and, doing okay. But after a while, it got real tedious. And, again, band members wanting to split. There wasn't enough money. One doesn't get along with the bass player. And that whole thing started to happen again. So we reached a point where I thought, okay, I think I'm going to stop doing the band thing, and I'm going to go. I was living in Northern California, and I decided to move back to Los Angeles and see what I could put together there in terms of being a singer-songwriter without the band. That didn't especially work out, so I actually wound up giving it up. Went on to different things. Actually, I became a chef. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I believe that's right. Tell us a little about your life since giving music away. That was your first step? You went into being a chef?
Yeah. Well, I had always cooked, and I'd always hung around restaurants, and when I was in the band, I was always, always eating out, so you make friends in restaurants and things. So I was always close to it, and my grandmother, used to show me a lot of things as I was growing up. That was one of the things she liked to do was cook and bake. And so I just had that knowledge in the back of my head. So I just, I had a friend that had a small restaurant, and I went to work there and just developed myself over the next 5 years. 10, actually.
Has there been any temptation in recent times, particularly with Spirit in the Sky still being so prominent, to return to the stage at all?
The temptation is there. I do get asked if I actually want to do it, and I basically don't know. I don't know if I want to go through the whole process again, especially since it would almost be like starting over, even though I would have the one hit behind me. And it brings up an interesting point, because when we played this club in California, and just for the hell of it, all we did was play Spirit in the Sky for 40 minutes. And it wasn't long enough.
Really?
Wasn't long enough. I mean, could have went an hour and a half. One song, just over and over. One continuous loop of Spirit in the Sky. And it was like, but it made me think, I don't think I ever can, float above this.
Yeah.
So it was. I've never, wanted to do the oldies tour, with a bunch of people that had hits. And I don't know. Who knows? There's other things happening, so it kind of keeps me interested. There's a company in France that's naming a vodka after me.
Is that right?
That'll be a whole different thing.
So
very different. I'm waiting for samples.
So there have been offers to return.
Yeah, but not a good enough offer for me to want to do it as yet, But still, the song it just keeps plugging along. In fact, it was just in an Australian movie, but I'm sorry, I just can't remember what it was called. And it's going to be in a new Hunter Thompson movie. So it just keeps going. I basically, if I don't want to be really rich and get any more grayer than I am, I think I can just sit here and let it happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it's a little disappointing to the fans, because there's so many people out there that would really like to see me play it again. But you never know. I mean, I might wake up with my back now. I've been having back problems, so I might wake up, feel so great I want to do it. Never know.
You never say never.
That's right, yeah.
Do you still write and sing and play at home for your own enjoyment?
Yeah.
You do? Tell us about your website. What inspired you to set that up, despite having been retired from music?
Well, even though I wasn't touring, I had a band anymore, there's always been this lingering interest in me. And the fact that it had been re-released, I mean, it had been covered by Doctor and the Medics, and a good dozen other bands, but even Elton John had a version of it, which is a little obscure, but that was kind of interesting. And I thought, well, everybody else seems to have websites these days. Why don't I do that? Plus, one of the record labels wanted to put out a retrospect of, Norman Greenbaum, the best of.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me something. I got some T-shirts designed and those records. So put that together, and it's still going pretty good. Actually, it's been real interesting, and it gives people a chance to talk to me, at least through email.
And you're maintaining the site yourself?
Well, I have webmasters that actually maintain the electronic part of it. the other part, I basically designed it and keep it going.
So what else is taking up your time these days? What's a typical day in the life for you?
Physical therapy for my back.
That's right, yeah.
That's 3 days a week now again. I thought it was behind me already. Oh, no pun intended there. Well, basically, I don't do a heck of a lot. I live in a nice area in Northern California called the Wine Country, so it's always nice to go out and just enjoy the scenery and go wine tasting and try different restaurants and go to the ocean. It's just, things like that. But in terms of hobby-wise or any kind of business-wise, I do spend a good 4 hours a day on the website answering mail and putting together things, trying to come up with some unique little gizmo I might stick in there. We had mouse pads, shirts and things, and we had tattoos and stuff.
And just to finish up, Norman, One Hit Wonder is a label that's often placed alongside your name. Are you comfortable with being labelled a One Hit Wonder?
Well, I think other people make more of it than I do.
Yeah.
Although on the VH1 program, I thought I should have been much higher than 85. That kind of irritated me. But, who knows how they came up with their top 100. How do I react to it? It's okay. So many musicians have never had the chance to even be in the top 50 of charts. Yeah. And have just been like maybe local phenoms, what do you say? And never kind of break out. So for me, it was pretty good. I started small with a little jug band, got noticed enough where people realized that I had the talent in the band. And so when I broke loose, it was easy for me to follow up. And that was, that's a pretty good feeling to look back on. Being labeled strengthens the thought that I could never overcome, that one song and doing other things. And so it's not really a stigma, but I guess you might call it a stigma. It's a little hard to get past it, but personally, I think it's good. It still gives me plenty of recognition, and it's surprising how many other musicians, either small-time local ones or, musicians and bands that, that are very very much famous, just absolutely still adore the song. So it's okay.
Well, Norman, I have to let you go. Thanks so much for your time. It's been an absolute treat to catch up with you, and thank you so much for providing a song that's provided so much enjoyment for all of us for a long, long time.
Well, thank you also.
And best of luck with your recovery, and we hope you're up and jumping around again real soon.
Yeah, me too. Thanks a lot.
Take care, Norman.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.